Welcome back to Kid and Kam Table Talk. Today we had the top 25 release for the college football playoff, and we're going to give you our thoughts on it. A lot of unsurprising changes and a lot of surprising changes, especially in the top 10, I guess you could say. So we won't give up what team it is yet, but we're just going to give you our thoughts on it. Starting with 25 through, whatever. So we'll tell you if they're surprising or not. First off, Colorado at 25, not surprising at all. I mean,
Yeah, not really. They really got to get better on offense if they ever want to be a threat, in the Pac-12. But until now, I just kind of see them as like a stagnant. Most of their games are close games, barely escape games. And then they lost to Utah pretty bad, so they definitely got to work on it. They need to build a better offense. Do something with their defense.
San Jose State at number 24, San Jose State. They finally jumped in. They were not ranked. Not surprising. I mean, they're undefeated. And then 23, you got Tulsa, 6-1. They jumped up one spot. Not surprising. North Carolina State, 8-3. They jumped up one spot to 22. Not surprising. 21, Oklahoma State, 7-3.
Yeah, they're supposed to be way better the season. They were like what? They were top 5. They were top 8 at
They
one
were
point,
undefeated
right?
for a hot minute. Yeah, they were undefeated for a hot minute.
Who was it that beat them? It was Oklahoma first, right? And then Texas, and then pretty much everyone else in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Well, not really, just
then,
one other team.
Speaking of Texas, they're next at 20. They haven't moved. Neither has Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns. Upset Bruin for the championship.
Longhorn Nation. I know I'm kind of lagging a little bit, but Longhorn Nation, we're back. Come on, man.
We're back. 6-3. Okay. Jesus. And then, like I said, Louisiana Raging Cajuns, number 19.
Louisiana's got an important game against Coastal Carolina. Definitely need to win that one.
If y'all check the Instagram, y'all see what we're talking about. Check the last video, honestly. Not the last one, the one before the last one. 18, we got Miami. They dropped down 8 spots.
Got some humble soup against North Carolina. Javonte Williams went stupid.
Yeah, the whole both running backs went stupid.
Yeah, Miami's defense is honestly pathetic.
They just got Gregory Rousseau. That's all they got. Jesus. Anyways, 17, they got BYU. I didn't expect to see him this low, but I mean, I guess you could take it.
Anytime, place, anywhere, loses instantly. Score 17 points.
Number 16, Iowa. There's talks about a game with Georgia coming up since Vanderbilt got canceled. But
hopefully,
we'll
a win against Georgia would give them a New Year's Six bowl. Possibly, that's something I've been seeing. But so it'd be interesting if they take it. I doubt they do though.
I doubt it. 15, North Carolina. They only jumped up 2 spots after that victory. Northwestern at 14. Not surprising. 13, you got USC. They're only 5-0. They weren't expected to be this good.
How good is this USC team?
I don't know. They got a beast at quarterback. They got Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's an amazing wide receiver.
Hey, don't just say that beast. You say that man's name. This man gifted us JT Daniels.
Kadon Slovis, isn't it? It's Kadon Slovis.
Use his name when you're talking about this guy. Yeah, Slovis. Guy got us JT Daniels. Slovis. Yeah, I mean, I like what I'm seeing from these guys. A lot of close game against UCLA, and they get to play Oregon now instead of Washington because Washington has COVID issues.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
I mean, it's just... Hasn't Washington had COVID issues the whole season?
You want to know someone who has COVID issues the whole season? Vanderbilt, but let's not talk about that.
All right, at number 12, Coastal Carolina. They're 11-0. We know who they are.
You
wanted to say something about this?
Yeah, we'll stop on Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina is 11-0. They're the only team in the nation with 11 wins, and their fans are upset. They think they should be in the playoff.
We have another UCF.
Yeah. Now, do I think this team needs to be in the playoff? There is no way you can convince me that Coastal Carolina is a top 4 team in the nation.
This is the thing. You could say they're a top 4 team. It doesn't matter, okay? If they're in there, they're in there. Okay, and if they're going to get in there, they're going to get in at the 4 seed, right? So if they get in at the 4 seed, they'd have to play Alabama. I'd say Alabama would win 73-7.
Alabama would murk them. But here's the thing. I don't want to sit here and say, I think teams, when they win, it's clearly obvious that the committee's biased towards Power 5 teams in the SEC.
It's because it's stronger competition.
Exactly. But, like Coastal Carolina, their biggest win the whole season was against Georgia State, and they beat them 51-0. Is that impressive?
We'll say BYU.
No. Oh, yeah, you're right. I said their biggest win, like their biggest margin victory.
Okay.
It's Georgia State. But yeah, obviously their biggest win was BYU, and you got to consider that game was set up in a couple days. So you don't even know if both teams were even playing at full function. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Coastal just dominated, or, BYU wasn't fully prepared, but it's still an impressive win nonetheless. It ended BYU's hopes, of anything. And their schedule's weak. I mean, Kansas, they haven't won a game in a year and a half. An FCS school, Arkansas State.
If
they beat the Raging Cajuns, so that's
so you like Appalachian State. They have really good seasons all the time. They always have at least 10-win seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever see them in the top 15 ever.
Nope.
Even if they are, and they're 10-win seasons all the time. But the reason that is because they're playing teams like Arkansas State, Georgia State, Texas State. So that's when these teams go undefeated, like UCF, Coastal Carolina, BYU.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, BYU is a great team. They are. Coastal Carolina, a great team. But they aren't at the level of Indiana, who's right in front of them.
They're not.
Or, Florida, Georgia, Ohio State, Texas A&M, none of them.
And it's like we said in the last video, if these guys win, if they beat Louisiana, they got to get a New Year's Six bowl.
They have to. At that point,
it's just too dominant.
College football can't afford that much hate towards them.
Yeah. So my thing is like if they make a New Year's Six bowl, they're gonna play a team in the top 10 most likely, because they'll possibly rise up to top 10. What top 10 team are they gonna beat?
There's only one that I could honestly see.
Yep.
And it'd be Cincinnati.
Cincinnati's defense is kind of good. I don't even think that would happen.
I don't think that. But that's the only team that I feel like they could compete with. Honestly. And I'm not trying to hate on anybody, but it's legit. If you can't tell me that, like you were saying in that one video where I was on something else, whenever we're talking about Brock Vandagriff and all that, you said Brock Vandagriff plays in the lower talent in Georgia.
Yeah.
So if Brock Vandagriff's team goes undefeated, you can't tell me that they're going to beat the undefeated team at the top level of the state of Georgia. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's sort of like that.
Yeah, and I was all on the Coastal Carolina hype train until pretty much they just struggled against Troy. After this week, I was like, okay, this team is not as good as we think they are.
Come on, man. You're ranked 12 and you're studying against Troy,
and it's like people are complaining, but I'm like, you got to consider the committee's looking at that. They don't care that, they're not a fan of this team. They're in charge of putting the best teams in the best spots. Did they do that? No, but we're going to get to that. But my Coastal Carolina argument is this team is just not as good as everyone thinks they are. This team isn't as good as they think they are. I don't think they're beating a Power 5 opponent.
Yeah. Then 11 and 10. 11 you got Indiana. 10 you got Oklahoma. Nothing really surprising there.
If Oklahoma didn't have such a bad start to their season, they could have been in a way better spot. But they'd probably be 4 or 5. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that they're better than those teams. Yeah. But just because they were ranked that high at the start of the season, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know what you mean.
But Cincinnati at 9. They're undefeated. I mean, they're same boat as Coastal Carolina, but Cincinnati, they're in a tougher conference. They're in the American Conference.
And these guys, I'm talking about, their defense is one of the best, in the league, and they don't really get known for that a lot. But I'm sure these guys are going to be headed to a New Year's Six bowl game as long as they can beat Tulsa. They beat Tulsa this week. These guys could be headed to a New Year's Six bowl. They will be. They'll be 9-0, perfect record, and. Do you see this team possibly pulling off an upset?
Does the American Conference, do they have a what's the championship game or no?
Yeah, I think the game against Tulsa.
Yeah, they do. They should because UCF played Memphis whenever whenever that was
they're playing Tulsa.
That's the conference championship.
Yep, Tulsa. They haven't played. They were going to play earlier this season, but the game was canceled, so they are playing this week at 8:00.
Okay, yeah, so they're playing at 8:00. Let's see. Next is Georgia at 8. I mean, it's not surprising.
Yeah, I think Georgia's a top. I feel like it's kind of sus because I go back to that argument of Georgia wasted their season with Stetson Bennett at quarterback. It's just kind of wasted it. But do I think Georgia's a top 4 team right now? I'm not going to go that far, but do I think they should be higher than they are? One thing I'm upset. I don't think. Obviously, Florida beat Georgia, so it makes sense to keep them above there. But a loss against 3-5 LSU. Remember when Georgia lost to South Carolina last year and they moved down 7 spots?
Yeah.
Why isn't the same thing applying for Florida? You do realize Florida's going to be a 3-loss team after Saturday because they're not beating Bama.
Florida. Look, this is the thing. I can understand why they only dropped in one spot because let's be honest here. Florida is a top team in the nation.
They are.
And with the college football rankings, they want to rank the top teams in the nation. But then again, you can't just disrespect these teams behind Florida like that. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about this is a LSU team that lost to Mississippi State. You know, this is an LSU team that doesn't even have any star players.
This is an LSU team that lost to Missouri. You know, so
yeah, exactly. So
I think it's not even it's not that disrespectful to Georgia because, like I said, they beat Georgia even though we had an actual mailman at quarterback. But it's kind of disrespectful to Cincinnati. Like maybe they're just not taking Cincinnati, serious.
Just a little bit, yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. Cincinnati's gonna have to make a statement in their bowl game. Hopefully they win this week, which they should.
So we got Florida, number 7. 6, we got Iowa State. Big 12 coming in.
Yeah.
Who would have thought they would have been the highest ranked Big 12 team?
Yeah, I just don't. That loss they had earlier in the season, it kind of weighs on a lot of people. I can tell when they lost against Louisiana, who Louisiana's playing. Yeah, and that's kind of weighing on a lot of people. They also lost to Oklahoma State. They beat Texas.
Oklahoma State was supposed to be a good team.
That was when Oklahoma State was ranked like 6th in the nation. Like they were top 10 team.
Yeah, at the time that was a quality loss.
Yeah, and Iowa State, then they beat Oklahoma. Some good quality wins, but do I think they're the number 6 team in the nation? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they got
with some luck. Look, if something happens with some luck, Texas A&M drops because Iowa State wins the Big 12 or something like something weird. You know what I'm saying? Iowa State could hop in the playoff.
Iowa State's not hopping over Texas.
Look. If Florida loses, and Iowa State, Iowa State would probably play Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship. Let's say they beat the mess out of them.
Yeah, right? Ohio State would have to lose because if anyone else loses, they're not.
That's the thing.
Iowa State,
Clemson
or Clemson would have to lose. Yeah, one or the other.
Or Notre Dame. Notre Dame and Clemson play each other.
If Notre Dame loses, they have to stay in the top 4. They have to.
You think so?
They have to. There's no way you can take Notre Dame out of top 4 if they lose.
Look, it's not impossible for Iowa State to get in.
No, because
it's not impossible.
Because with your motive, if Notre Dame loses, then that means Iowa State's in the playoff. Now, if Notre Dame and Ohio State lose, that means Texas A&M and Iowa State in the playoff. Iowa State, they'd be at number 4. That's the highest they would go, no matter what. But
I mean, it's completely possible for Iowa State to jump Texas A&M.
It's possible.
It's completely possible.
It's definitely.
If they somehow whoop the mess out of Oklahoma, and let's say like 2 teams or even Ohio State loses in their championship game, you can get an Iowa State in the playoff. Do I think it's going to happen?
Yeah,
probably not.
Probably. Like you said, it's kind of like it's possible.
It's not impossible.
But I think the thing
it's a very low chance.
The thing that's, keeping Texas A&M from really moving is the fact that their schedule is obviously, like we always say, their schedule, it's SEC. So it's like they haven't moved, but let's be real. The only team they lost to was Bama. The only team they lost to was Bama. And if they get into the playoff, they're going to be in that same predicament. The highest they could possibly move is 4. Because let's be Ohio State's not losing. Ohio State's not losing. So the highest they can move is 4.
There's only 2 teams in there that you could even see losing, and that's Clemson and Notre Dame.
Yep. And to be honest, there's only 3 teams in the nation I think that can beat Bama, and that's Notre Dame, Clemson, or Ohio State. And we don't even really truly know how good Ohio State is. They've only played 5 games. It'll be 6 this Saturday. I'm sure they're good. It's Ohio State.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Anyways, I mean, we kind of just really exposed the rest of the playoff rankings. 5 is Texas A&M. We just talked about them. 4 is Ohio State. I mean, we just kind of talked about everybody except for Alabama. So it's kind of the same from Texas A&M up. Texas A&M's 5, Ohio State's 4, 3 is Clemson, 2 is Notre Dame, 1 is Bama. Anything you want to say about Bama?
Bama's the number 1 team in the nation. They've been the entire season. Somehow they weren't ranked number 1 to start the season, but this team has just been dominant. Everyone should have known this was going to be, Bama was going to be those guys. You know what I'm saying? The stuff we saw them do, Mac Jones, even when they lost to Auburn last season, it was one of Mac Jones' first couple games. He's still getting that rhythm. that's not going to happen again, even though, he'll be headed to the NFL. But Alabama's number one team in the nation. There's simply no one better than them. It's as simple as that.
There's one team that's better than him.
Better than Alabama?
Yes. That is your Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Come on, man.
I mean,
different.
You might be speaking.
Come on, 11-0. They've won the most games out of any team in the whole entire NCAA.
You might be speaking some facts.
Come on, man.
It'd be kind of crazy if we still had
the Coastal Carolina fan base.
They know.
Come on, man.
Is Coastal Carolina better than Bama? It's funny though. Like if we were still on the BCS, if we were still on the BCS.
If this was NCAA, rankings, Coastal Carolina would be in the top 5.
No, they would not. They'd still be at 12. But Notre Dame and Clemson would be it'd be like a playoff game because the winner would go to the BCS and the loser would just drop out. Clemson would be going to what? The Sugar Bowl?
If this was BCS, Notre Dame would probably be number 1. Just because they beat, or I don't know, because Bama's beat. No, they beat Bama, the top. Man. They beat the top. What was we were top 5 at the point at that moment. Georgia, we were top 4.
Yeah, we were like 3. We're ranked number 3, bro. We were higher than Bama at that point, I think. No, Bama was 2. This was before.
Bama was 2.
This was before Notre Dame beat.
Clemson was 1. So. Bama was 2. We were 3. Notre Dame was like 4 or 5, something like that.
Yep.
So Bama has beat a 5th ranked Texas A&M right now. They have beat a 3 ranked Georgia. They're about to beat the 7th ranked Florida Gators. Mm-hmm. They have beat any more ranked teams? I don't know if they're ranked anymore.
Maybe we're too sure on that. We're too sure on that.
What do you mean? Oh, the Florida one?
That Bama's going to smack Florida. You know who's back? Jalen Waddle is back.
Oh, yeah, I seen that. They who was it? It was Devonta Smith posted on his Instagram.
Jalen Waddle is back. And if you're a fan of any team named Notre Dame, Clemson, Ohio State, Texas A&M, or Iowa State, and Florida. GG's, bud. GG's. Because, somebody commented and they were like, well, Jalen Waddle's back. So that means if Florida plays a complete game, Kyle Trask and Pitts are in connection the entire game, that means they'll lose by 49 instead of 50. So.
Oh, my goodness.
Good luck to y'all, Florida boys.
It's going to make Florida's day a whole lot worse just because they already can barely even play defense. And
you even said it yourself. Dan Mullen's offensive coach, Todd Grantham, is not going to be able to game plan against this Bama offense.
He can't even game plan against other teams.
He can't game plan against LSU. So good luck with that.
Who's LSU starting quarterback right now? Is it still Miles Brennan?
It's a true freshman. What's his name?
We can check real quick. Let's check.
Let's check. It's a true freshman though. I know that for sure. I don't. Yeah, he played all. He played all right too. Is it Johnson?
Max Johnson.
Yeah, I think so. True freshman.
Yeah. LSU quarterback Mac Johnson's first start behind the center, one for the ages. Yep. As he beat the Florida Gators. Oh my goodness. Anyways, you got anything else to add? Any more?
That's me. I mean, did the college football playoff? Is there anyone you think is just out of no? Like, what's the worst ranking in your opinion? Because in my opinion, it's Florida. Florida should be at 7. No, because it's like Florida still has a shot. No, they don't. Yeah, they really don't. I think
I don't know. They could because you never know. If they beat Bama,
Bama's staying in the top 4 though. So that's not shaking anything up. If Florida beats Bama, then they would need Clemson. They would need Notre Dame to beat Clemson again. But even then, still, if Iowa State wins, you got to put Iowa State in the top 4. Iowa State's got to go. But even though Florida's got a more impressive win, I don't know, man. You never know what the committee's going to do. But even still, Texas A&M, I think Texas A&M will get in over them because Texas A&M beat Florida. And you see how they're putting Florida over Georgia because Florida has that win against Georgia head-to-head.
I think the worst ranking was probably Florida. Even though it wasn't a horrible ranking, it was probably the worst one. It was like BYU. Like, I don't know. Because BYU's was horrible last time. But, hey, they were on we want to apologize to the committee because they were on to something when they ranked BYU that low. And they got slapped by Coastal Carolina.
Remember BYU? They got beat by Coastal Carolina. Remember BYU was ranked that low because of they hadn't played anybody. Their schedule was bad. That's why Coastal Carolina's at 12. Their schedule isn't that thick. They're just undefeated. Cincinnati's like, their schedule's not that impressive. Their wins aren't that impressive, but their wins, they're thick. they're 8-0. So they put a 2-loss Georgia, Florida, Iowa State over them.
Hey, look, whatever works for
if Cincinnati wins tomorrow and all the top 4 teams win, or if Cincinnati wins tomorrow and they don't, and Texas A&M doesn't sneak into the playoffs somehow, I'm sure Cincinnati will be playing Texas A&M, and that's a winnable game. Texas A&M is good.
It'll be a good game.
Texas A&M is good. I don't think they're as good as everyone thinks they are, though.
It'll be a good game.
That's something. That's something I can say. It'll be a good game. I think Jimbo. I was about to call him Dabo Swinney. I think Jimbo Fisher could probably pull that off, though.
Yeah. Anyways, that's been the table talk about the playoff. It's our reaction. If y'all disagree, agree, let us know in the comments. Like the video. Please subscribe. Please keep showing the love. Anyways, it's been Kid and Kam. See you.